So after Kendrick Lamar destroyed Drake during a rap battle, a federal judge just issued another blow. Let's get into it.
Music history expert A.R. Shaw.
A.R. Shaw. A.R. Shaw. A.R. Shaw. A.R. Shaw.
A.R. Shaw, author of Trap History, Atlantic Culture, and the Global Impact of Trap Music.
Welcome back to the channel. This is A.R. Shaw. I am the author of the book Trap History, Atlantic Culture, and the Global Impact of Trap Music. Definitely check that book out. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's definitely have dialogue on what we discussed today. All right, I'm gonna get right into it. So the ongoing saga, Drake versus Kendrick, from the rap battle to the federal courtrooms. Now things seem like we should be coming to an ending of this whole, I guess, fiasco that's been taking place for over the past 10 years that pretty much reached a boiling point in 2024 with that heated rap battle and then the ongoing lawsuit with Drake suing UMG, Universal Music Group, for defamation, claiming that Not Like Us was defamatory towards his character. Well, a judge recently dismissed that lawsuit and basically saying that, there's no merits to what Drake was pretty much saying. And, if we go back, I've been covering this for several months, pretty much until, since this whole thing kicked off with Drake issuing this lawsuit. And my whole thing initially was like, this is probably one of the most craziest things that I've ever seen in hip hop history. I think we've never seen any rapper sue another rapper based on a diss track or based on a rap battle. It just hasn't happened. But Drake, being from Canada, being Canadian, and I'm not just saying that this is all about all Canadians, this may just be a personal flaw, but he came and he tried to do something that's never been done in hip hop, is basically sue his opponent in a rap battle. Now, Drake, initially, he claimed that the Universal Music Group intentionally published and promoted the Not Like Us, despite knowing that it contained false and defamatory allegations against Drake, and suggested that listeners should resort to vigilante justice. He says the track tarnished his reputation and decreased his value in his brand. Now, I want to go, before we go into what the Judge Vargas, ruled on Drake, I'm going to kind of go backwards and talk about pretty much how this whole thing started, and then kind of move fast forward into what this whole thing means for hip hop, and then I guess the future of hip hop in terms of rap battle and things of that nature, right? So if we go back, of course, Drake and Kendrick, they've been throwing shots at each other probably since 2012, 2013. I think things kind of reached a boiling point initially with that Control verse, when Kendrick pretty much called out his peers, saying that, look, y'all really not on my level. It was tongue-in-cheek, it was playful, but Drake was pretty much the only rapper that took it personal, right? And it seems like his feelings were hurt in some type of way. Kendrick responds with the BET Cypher freestyle, and he basically just goes in on Drake, and those who knew that this was a shot at Drake. Now, they had been going back and forth. Drake had been giving slick lines, and Kendrick had been giving slick lines, but everything reached ahead in 2024 with that Like That verse, when Kendrick basically goes at Drake and possibly J. Cole when he's like, look, ain't no big three, it's just big me. Drake responds with Tailor-Made Freestyle, and first it was Drop and Give Me 50, then Tailor-Made Freestyle, back-to-back diss tracks where he's kind of going at Kendrick. And then, Kendrick is silent for, I think, 17 days where Kendrick doesn't say anything. Kendrick responds pretty much with a with a barrage of just diss tracks, and we just see that everything culminates with Not Like Us, and Not Like Us was pretty much the song of 2024. Kendrick wins a bunch of Grammys. He goes to the Super Bowl. I was at the Super Bowl in New Orleans when he performed Not Like Us, pretty much the biggest viewed Super Bowl in the history of Super Bowls. And it just shows you that, that Kendrick, it was his time. And I always said, I did in several interviews during this time, I said that Drake probably should not respond to Kendrick Lamar. I think he should just let it go. I think he should just really just take a step back, do your subliminal disses, continue with the subliminal disses, but don't say anything in terms of mentioning his name, mentioning anybody in his family. Don't do that. I think Drake should just stay away from that. Drake did not do that. Drake in multiple rap battles, particularly Family Matters, Drake made multiple claims about Kendrick's wife, saying that Kendrick beat his wife, and he claimed that Kendrick's wife or fiance, I'm not sure what their relationship is, but that his significant other basically stepped out on him and had a baby with Kendrick's business partner Dave Free. And so Kendrick pretty much, he basically gave Drake a warning before that and said, let's just make this a friendly fade. Let's keep the family out of this. And then Drake brought the family in it. Kendrick responds with Meet the Grams, which was like hip hop horror film and almost like a psychotherapist pretty much examining a patient. And then hours later, that he drops Not Like Us. And Drake's whole claim, I think after the battle, Drake basically he hollers defamation. But the issue with Drake's claim was that he didn't want to his lawyers, they didn't want to put any of the other rap disses inside of this lawsuit. They only wanted to focus on Not Like Us. And the judge in this case was very specific in saying that this was basically a rap battle and tied everything in. And this is what the judge said about it, about Not Like Us and Drake's claim that Not Like Us was defamatory. The judge says, although the accusations that the plaintiff is a PDF is certainly a serious one, the broader context of a heated rap battle with incendiary language and offensive accusations heard on both participants would not incline the reasonable listener to believe that Not Like Us imparts verifiable facts about the plaintiff. Basically saying that a rap song can't be treated as a report or a news piece, right? And a news piece is different, where it's like you can't do a hit piece on somebody and it not be true. Whereas a hip hop battle is like, all right, you have almost creative freedom to kind of give hyperbole and then just basically say things that are outrageous and basically maybe not be true, but the average listener can come to a conclusion to say that, all right, this is not true. Right. So it's just this, in terms of creative freedom, rap artists should have that type of creative freedom to say things that are pretty much outrageous, but, still in the context of the rap battle. And this is what the judge says. No reasonable person would view the image, basically the cover art of Not Like Us, and believe that in fact law enforcement and designated 13 residents in Drake's home as PDFs. So basically saying that it was just a piece of art, using parody as a mean of defense, that you can parody something that's that's very lampoon something that Saturday Night Live does every week when they lampoon the president or they give the president some type of parody. It's not necessarily looked at as factual. It's just something that we see as parody. So that's pretty much what it is. And so the judge dismissed the case. Now, in terms of hip hop, I think it's definitely important that case got dismissed, because I think it would have basically damaged the future of hip hop battles and rap battles and basically the sport of rap battles. So it's good that Drake lost on that end. Also, I think it's important to say that this is something that from a personal standpoint, Drake might need to really think about. Taking a look within himself before he makes the next move. Now, I think at this point, you probably need to let things go, just walk away, take the L, move on with your career, and keep going. But I think the longer you let this thing linger, the longer you look crazy, the longer your fans are gonna be like, all right, who is this guy that we thought was, a dope artist? Now you just look like a clown. So I think Drake should definitely just move on. Take the L, continue to move on, continue to make good music. You make good music, people will forget about it. It was a battle that pretty much happened over the span of 2024. Most of the people have moved on. Kendrick is still touring, so I think it's an opportunity for Drake to kind of like, all right, take that next step towards doing something else that's positive for your career. But again, like I say, it's important. It's good that the judge decided to dismiss this case, because particularly for rap battles on the First Amendment. So let me know your thoughts. I am A.R. Shaw, the author of the book Trap History, Atlanta Culture, and the Global Impact of Trap Music. Let me know your thoughts on this entire case. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's definitely have dialogue on what we discussed today.